If you're a man, think back on the stories that shaped you. Who was the father figure that made you want to be better? Which character showed you what strength, wisdom, or sacrifice looked like? Fictional fathers helped shape our idea of what strength looks like. Jonathan Kent raised Superman to be humble despite his immense power. Mufasa taught Simba to lead with wisdom, courage, and fairness. Uncle Iroh showed Zuko patience, redemption, and emotional strength. Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles modeled discipline, protection, mentorship, guided his sons towards maturity and purpose. Philip Banks, despite having a temper, was tough but fair. He protected, corrected, and led his family with dignity. These characters become emotional anchors for boys who do not have a father in real life. Even if they were fictional, they modeled strength without cruelty, wisdom without ego, discipline without domination, and compassion without weakness. We mirror what we see, and when the stories are right, then the impact lasts a lifetime. Strong fathers in fiction don't just entertain, they educate. And if we stop showing them to boys, then we stop showing boys how to become men. I was at the hospital during the labor of my first child. I was extremely excited to become a father. My mind was racing because I was so excited. I got paper and pen, and I started writing down a list of all the father figures from TV and movies of my childhood that I wanted to model myself after. The list included characters like Philip Banks, Carl Winslow, Master Splinter, Robert Hawkins. But as I started adding more and more names to the list, there was something I was noticing. First of all, it was very hard to build that list to begin with. I couldn't think of many father figures that were really great. And the second thing I noticed is that the majority of them were from over 20 years ago. When I was trying to think of more modern characters, it was really difficult. Most of them were either comedic goofballs or just people that I don't want to aspire to become. It made me realize that the culture has definitely shifted and that the message that the current media is giving is that fatherhood is useless. Past generations would celebrate fatherhood. We had shows titled Father Knows Best. Now they're punchlines, ghosts, or villains. And when boys grow up seeing stories like that, they don't see fatherhood as something that they want to aspire towards. Modern media has a message that fathers are fools, forgotten, or the ones who create all the issues. So what are the most common tropes for father characters in media? First, we have the invisible or the erased dad. Sometimes he's never mentioned at all. Other times he's removed early in the story with no real explanation. Either he's absent entirely or written out before he matters. Teaches boys that a father's presence is optional or disposable. Such as Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. He has a mom, but where's his dad? Huey, Dewey, and Louie learn that they have a mother, but the father is never mentioned or acknowledged. Or you have father figures who get removed for no reason at all, such as Jonathan Kent from Man of Steel. In just about every iteration of Superman, Jonathan Kent is always Superman's moral anchor. In Man of Steel, he gets removed in such an unbelievable and frustrating way. The next major trope is the buffoon. He's always confused and he's always corrected by the other members of the family, whether it's his wife or his kids. These dads are only seen as comic relief as they are always the punchline. They reinforce the idea that fathers can't lead, they can't solve problems, they can't grow, and they only exist to elevate the other characters around them by being incompetent, such as Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin from Family Guy, and Jerry Smith from Rick and Morty. Yeah, Peter Griffin makes us laugh, but would you go to him for advice or want him to watch your kids? Leave a comment. Another trope is the emotionally absent dad. He's there, but he's not really there. These dads aren't cruel or physically absent, they're just emotionally unavailable. Some of them may seem responsible or successful, but they don't connect with their kids on a personal level, shown as cold, distracted, or overly focused on achievement. Many are workaholics, a relatable but harmful portrayal where a career always comes before family. This teaches boys that love is distant, success matters more than presence, and emotional expression is weakness. Such as Howard Stark from the MCU. He's brilliant, but never shows any emotional connection or support to Tony. Or Hank Pym from Ant-Man. He shuts hope out from his life for years. We also have the deadbeat dad. Unlike the invisible dad, these dads exist, they just bounced. These fathers are physically absent by choice. They abandon their kids or show up only when it suits them. They often justify it with weak reasons, but never take real responsibility. Their absence leaves a vacuum their children are desperate to fill, and they'll look anywhere to do it. For example, Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. He's unreliable, selfish, and avoids accountability at all costs. Omni-Man from Invincible. He leaves after destroying his son's world, only returns when it serves him. Or Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 uses his children as tools and leaves them behind. The next trope is the tyrant who is cold, oppressive, and outright evil. These fathers are usually portrayed as the villain, uses dominance and fear instead of love and leadership, often the very thing the child must escape or destroy. Turns the idea of authority into something to resent, not respect. Thanos from the MCU. He was cruel, oppressed with control, used fear to impose his warped sense of order. Bill Fisk, who was abusive and violent towards Wilson Fisk and his mother. He instills trauma instead of guidance. Or Fire Lord Ozai from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Rules through intimidation and shows no love or empathy towards Zuko and shows clear favoritism towards Azula. Finally, we have the legacy burden. The father seems honorable until you realize that his choices have caused the burden of the story. The story turns when the child discovers their father's hidden past. The son or daughter is left to carry the consequences and clean up the damage. Reinforces the idea that even the best fathers are secretly burdens, such as T'Chaka in Black Panther, who not only orphaned his nephew but abandoned him and buried the truth. Odin in the MCU concealed Hela and past consequences. And Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, who presented himself as someone who's caring, but he manipulates his son for selfish ends. These tropes teach boys that their fathers are jokes, burdens, or outright evil. It tells boys that becoming a father means becoming a screw-up, and that having a father means overcoming their failures. And when boys see these type of characters and stories all the time, they begin to believe that fatherhood isn't something worth pursuing. This isn't just a media problem, this is a reality problem. When fatherhood disappears from stories, it disappears from homes as well. Boys model what they see, and when fathers are mocked, replaced, or erased, then they lose their compass. According to the National Center of Fathering and the Fatherless Generation, 85% of youth in prison come from fatherless homes. 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. 90% of homeless or runaway youth are fatherless. 60% of youth self-terminations come from fatherless homes. This is not correlation. This is about a lack of structure, presence, and guidance. Most men who commit violent crimes also come from fatherless backgrounds. But here's something even more revealing. According to Pew Research, 57% of young men aged 18 to 34 say they want to be a father someday. That means nearly half aren't even inspired by the idea of fatherhood. A good father offers more than protection. He offers foundation, identity, a name, a legacy, a place to belong. Direction, how to walk the right path and why. Purpose, a reason to be strong, responsible, and reliable. Discipline, guidance with standards, not punishment. Love and compassion, affection that teaches respect, not weakness. A true father figure doesn't tell you how to live, he shows you. And when boys don't have that at home, then they look for it in their stories. Games, entertainment, and media are shaping the minds of boys more than school and family. And that's why this matters so much. The Boy Crisis by Dr. Warren Farrell and Boys Adrift by Dr. Leonard Sachs are two books that helped shape how I understand the crisis facing young men today. And if you want a deeper dive, I really recommend both of these books as I read them both. They are both incredible resources. The Boy Crisis is more in-depth, comprehensive read. It covers everything from education to emotional health to fatherlessness in society. Boys Adrift is a quicker, more concise read. If you're short on time, it still delivers powerful insights without getting overwhelming. I left links to both those books in the description below, but reading isn't enough. Boys need to see the lessons in the media they consume, and that's where games come in. Because a boy doesn't become a man just because he hit a certain age or by accident. A boy becomes one from example. And if that example is missing, then everything from discipline to self-worth falls apart. While Hollywood has been busy mocking fathers for decades, in video games you get to step in the shoes of the father and they are more central. Games, especially more mainstream games, are action-oriented. The game's objectives are rooted with protection, provision, and leadership. That's why fatherhood is a natural fit for the medium of gaming. Unlike TV or movies, games don't just show you strength, they let you live it. You play as the man who leads others, sacrifices for others, and keeps going when it hurts. The interactive experience makes fatherhood tangible. It's not just a monologue about values, it's gameplay built on them. It works because the mission-based gameplay reflects a father's real-world role of protecting the weak, leading others through danger, enduring pain to keep others safe. Fatherhood becomes a mechanic, not just a theme. Protecting, you guide allies, defending innocence, and face danger head-on. Providing, you earn, gather, or sacrifice resources to care for others. And leading, you guide a team or squad to make decisions that affect outcomes and carry the responsibility of those who follow. In video games, a good father character isn't explained, it's experienced. You don't just watch him protect, you are the protector. And that sticks more with boys than any lecture ever could. They're usually broken and flawed men, but they're on a mission and they choose to protect. Such as Joel, who's hardened by loss, but learns to love again through sacrifice. Lee Everett from The Walking Dead. He made mistakes in his past that he regrets, but he chooses to protect and mentor Clementine even at the cost of his life. Kratos from God of War 2018. He teaches his son strength and restraint in a brutal world, showing growth from his own violent past as he guides his son Atreus away from making the same mistakes he once did. John Marston in Red Dead Redemption. He sacrifices everything to give his son a better life. Barrett Wallace, a fierce protector and single father who risks everything for his daughter. His anger is driven by love, and he learns to lead with both aggression and compassion. Rost from Horizon Zero Dawn. He's an adoptive father by choice. Though exiled from his tribe and carrying his own painful past, he raises Aloy with strength, humility, and purpose. Despite his flaws, he dedicates himself to protect and mentoring her, ultimately sacrificing his life to prepare her for a world that wants to reject her. And Brad Armstrong from Lisa the Painful. He's a broken, deeply flawed man who will go through unimaginable suffering to rescue his adopted daughter. His journey is tragic, but filled with raw, painful sacrifice. We've talked about fathers who protect, lead, and sacrifice, but what happens when that protection demands for strength, force, and action? Violence, which is the use of force to hurt or injure others, is not inherently wrong or evil. It is a tool that can be used for good, such as combat sports or self-defense. What boys need to see is violence with purpose to protect, to defend, or uphold justice. Games allow this nuance to display violence that leads towards justice and righteousness. This violence isn't about dominance, it's about virtue. Boys learn when not to act and when it's necessary to do so. Without this context, boys either fear strength or abuse it, such as Joel defending Ellie, Lee shielding Clementine, or Kratos teaching Atreus how to hunt, when to fight, and when to show mercy. The best father figures in games don't just fight for the sake of being violent, they fight for something. They model strength and restraint, power with purpose. That makes these characters timeless, and boys need to see more of them. But not every single game gets this right, and most of media has been creating a void. Boys are influenced by stories, especially from entertainment, but most of these stories no longer show them how to be a man. And without strong role models, they either reject masculinity or twist it into aggression. They see strength and masculinity as something dangerous and something to reject, or they learn the wrong lessons and become bad men. And when you erase examples of honorable strength, you don't just stop boys from needing it. You just leave them more vulnerable towards the bad examples. Without role models, boys won't know what strength looks like. They'll copy whatever's the loudest. And when strength is mocked and erased, boys grow up ashamed of being men at all. We don't just need more fathers in media, we need better ones. And games have the potential to bring the best father figures in entertainment. If you're a man, be the best role model you could be towards the children around you, even if you're not a father. And if you're a creator, whether you develop video games or YouTube videos, build characters that embody the traits that make a real man. Let me know in the comments what character helped you understand what is a real man. Thank you for getting this far. Please like and subscribe to help boost the algorithm. Since mid-April, the discoverability of my videos have gone down drastically, so I appreciate any engagements to help boost the algorithm. Thanks, take care, salam.